Okay, recording progress. And let's start. Hi, everyone. Yeah, welcome to another Kazakhstan American Corners program. But today we will talk about practical CLIL activities for Kazakhstan's English subject program with special guests from Eurasian National University, Dina Abulgazinova, Aigerim Aliullayeva, Aknur Amanzholova. As always, we really excited to have all of you here, dear participants. Thank you for joining us. My name is Satnat. I'm American Corners Sultan Coordinator, and today I will be with you along with my colleague behind the scene, the Sun, who will be serving you as a moderator on the chat. Now, on the screen, you can see our contact information, usual one. Don't be shy to contact us every time if you have any question, concerns, recommendation, anything, or if you like just to chat with us. Like always, what to expect today? It's usual 60 minutes session. I'm not sure that we'll have time for Q&A, but we'll try to do it during the session. So stay till the end and let's be active. It's very important and you always be. Thank you for that. Thank you very much. Okay, usual rules. I think everything is clear. Just a little reminder about our YouTube channel and reminder about that you can always find our recordings there on Kazakhstan American Corners YouTube channel. That's all from my side. Now I would like to hand you over to our English language fellow, U.S. Department of State Program in Nur-Sultan, Mr. August Guernsey. Hello, August.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you. Hello, Sultanat. Thank you for that warm introduction. And good evening to all of our many participants across Kazakhstan. Wednesday is always such a joyful day for me to be able to provide these webinars for all the many wonderful people of Kazakhstan, for all our many wonderful and talented English language teaching professionals, and also sometimes too of many English language learners across Kazakhstan as well. So we have definitely a great webinar again here for you. Really looking forward to it, and I really feel that you can really gain some good practical knowledge, things that you could really use from this webinar. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay, I already see the chat's getting lively already. I like it. Good. All right. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay. All right. Okay, and Sultan, you see on your side, right?
Yeah, everything's clear.
Right. Cool. Okay, so everyone, again, by attending this event, you will be photographed, okay, and just for maybe promotional purposes of the U.S. Department of State, or also potentially American Corners Kazakhstan Network as well. So everyone, first thing before we really get into this webinar today here, I want to share a little bit of some insight and information into what's next. Okay, so we're always looking for opportunities, right? As the talented, and hungry English language teaching professionals that we are. So here's another terrific opportunity that I'm really, really excited about presenting to everyone. It's going to be a two-part webinar series coming up here in the next couple weeks, June 16th and the 23rd. Okay, so again, this is going to be Wednesdays again in the evening time. There will be a certificate available, and we're going to be focusing on Instagram, language learning through social media. As you can see here, I have a tremendous list for invited guest speakers that will be split amongst the 2 different days. There will be 3 per each day that will be joining me for each webinar, talking about various different things about the usage of Instagram. Now, this is something across Kazakhstan that when I talk to different instructors or English language learners, again, remember, this isn't just about, for us English teaching professionals. I know of many other English language learners in Kazakhstan that maybe they're in completely different disciplines or subjects, or professionally they do different things, in society, but they're enthusiastic we'll call them English language enthusiasts, okay? And they like to share as well on Instagram. So I put together a real awesome team of presenters. Some of them you may be familiar with, some of them you may not be, but they're going to provide some insight into about what they do for their content and about how they got started, maybe what you can do as well if you're interested in potentially starting up or sharing, you know, English language with others. You have an advantage because you are, you know, multilingual in many languages as opposed to me here, okay? So that way you guys can really share English language with so many different other speakers around the world. So again, this is something I would encourage. I hope everybody can join us, okay, coming up over the next couple of weeks for this new awesome upcoming webinar series focusing on Instagram, okay? All right. So today's webinar, now that you're excited about next week's webinar, what about this one? Okay, so practical CLIL activities for Kazakhstan's English subject program. Okay, now for those of you that may be new, because there may be some new participants joining us, and I always appreciate our new participants as well as all of our participants that have been with me before. Again, just a few points about me. I am the current virtual English language fellow for Nurse Sultan, and that way I'm the expected English language fellow in person for Nurse Sultan for this next academic year. Hopefully I'll be joining you guys in person in a couple months, I hope so. Some of my responsibilities that I'll talk about later in this webinar, specifically about my CLIL course and program that I co-taught at Eurasian National University. I teach there in the Foreign Languages Theory and Practice Department with graduate students and undergraduate student programs for pre-service and in-service English language teachers. I also work with many wonderful teams across Kazakhstan through the English Access Micro Scholarship Program, a terrific program by the U.S. Department of State. And currently right now we're working on everybody's favorite summer camps. Okay. And then also, like I said, one of my most favorite things in the world is being here with American Corners, Nurse Sultan and Sultanate, be able to provide you webinars on a weekly basis. Now, before all of this amazing stuff that I get to do here with Kazakhstan, I also used to live in Kokshetau. I was an international English teacher at Nish there in Kokshetau. Okay, so I did used to live in Kokshetau in Kazakhstan before. Okay, so Sultanate, maybe you can share the link here, just a little survey for everybody to just gather us a little bit more some insights. So otherwise I can better always prepare and plan for the content for us each week that I provide through American Corners Kazakhstan, because I know we have a diverse group of individuals, many different types of things that you do professionally, different levels of experience, and this will help me to better understand everybody so I can have much more effective programming. Okay, and so Sultanate, so that link will be in the chat there. Who are we survey, just a brief survey. Please fill that one out, everybody. Okay, all right. So in this presentation, collectively, I'm going to discuss and share your knowledge of CLIL activities among your peers across Kazakhstan. You're going to identify key CLIL textbook resources, specifically for activity framework and for maybe some concept models. You're going to gain some insight into a university teacher training CLIL course in Kazakhstan. I'll share you some information about that. And as well as for the majority of tonight, you're going to be acquiring practical knowledge of activities designed for specific topics from Kazakhstan's English subject program from my wonderful co-speakers here tonight. Okay. So let's start with collectively what we know at this point right now. Let's share our knowledge. We have many participants with us right now. So what I would like everyone to do is to type in the chat your responses to the following questions. The first question I'd like you to respond to is, so what is important in activities when using CLIL methodology? So think about this and think about, maybe certain types of, actions or certain types of, conditions or circumstances or things like that. So what is important in these kinds of activities? So go ahead and share, please, into the chat, single words, short phrases. Please don't be shy.
Yeah, that's right. Don't be shy. I just quickly mentioned and asked, do we have anyone from Kokshetau here? And yes, we do. We have someone from Kokshetau. Hi, guys.
Hey.
Okay. What is important in activities when using CLIL methodology? We have some answers already. Dual focus, language and content. Someone suggests. Then teaching materials, content and terminology, keeping balance. Interesting. Do we have any other ideas, suggestions?
Excellent.
Hi, Lisa.
Yeah, excellent ideas. Excellent so far here. Yeah, feel free, guys. Any other kinds of ideas, please, you can put it in there. But this is really good. I mean, so obviously things consider dual focus. That's really important. What materials? Okay, the materials that we're using. Again, terminology is really important with CLIL, specifically because you're using language to learn. So even I really like to really emphasize those language chunks as well, because those help to provide the learners with ability to improve their communication skills, to enhance that learning experience, okay, within that subject. Excellent. And I like that idea about keeping balance. Thank you, Sophia, for that. Yeah, that's really nice there. And EMI almost is like English is a medium language for content. It almost looked like EMI, English is a medium for instruction, but awesome. So yeah, those are great responses, guys. So those are some really key things that are really important. Okay, here's another question for everyone. Okay, so second question. Whatever pops up.
And see.
There it goes. All right.
Okay.
What activities have you used before within a CLIL environment? Okay, so maybe it's like you're not sure, like maybe it's like CLIL. Okay, go ahead, feel free. You can throw out the name of that activity if there's like a specific name, or you can try to describe that activity briefly into the chat. Let's share this amongst each other. Okay, we have a lot of knowledge here. Okay, it's not just about what I know, about what my co-speakers know. All of our participants here probably have some kind of experience doing some kind of activity. So let's put that into the chat.
I'm not sure what does it mean. It's abbreviation CBT and TBT. What does it mean?
Let's stick it here. Okay.
Is it activity?
Yeah,
task-based learning?
Okay, let's see what we got here. Yeah, so yeah, task-based learning. Okay, yeah, but okay, so learner-centered learning. Is that okay? Okay, I think I get what they're saying there for that one. CBT and TBT, task-based learning. Chunks are crucial. Okay, I definitely will agree with that one. And yes, and usage of EMI. Okay, very good point. Yeah, okay, but again, so any other kind of activities, maybe just names of activities, guys. So feel free, we can keep, all of our participants will keep looking into the chat. We're all sharing the chat, so that way, so again, if you come up with an idea, maybe you're thinking about it, maybe like in a few minutes, you think of an activity or something you've done before. So throughout this webinar, please, you can keep throwing out some activity ideas, or maybe if you have suggestions as well, like ways you can modify some of the tasks that the presenters will share, that's really welcome. So again, let's use the chat collectively. Let's support each other. That's one of the great things about teacher-to-teacher engagement. It's why I became a teacher and stopped being a bank manager. Okay, you guys know about that. Past I have, right? Okay, used to be a bank manager. All right, so okay, guys, so let's move forward here, because I really want to get to our co-speakers here, because I know that's what you're waiting to hear from. Just a couple brief things that I want to share as well. One, I want to kind of give you this idea. So for some of you that are experienced with CLIL, or you've used it, I mean, a lot of you potentially have taken like the updated curriculum courses as well. So, if you've been teaching for a few years, probably, most of you have maybe taken those updated curriculum training courses already. So maybe you already have some resources that you've kind of come across. But here's my suggested 4. And these were kind of the 4 that I used in the CLIL course that I just got through co-teaching at Eurasian National University. This will cover probably whatever you need, okay? The go-to source for CLIL Activities is going to be titled CLIL Activities by Dale and Tanner. Amazing source, okay? Guys, it's not a brand new book, but this book will never get old. The framework, which you're going to see some of my co-speakers have borrowed from this book and have used it, maybe modified it for topics from Kazakhstan's curriculum, okay? CLIL Activities is a terrific book. I suggest you guys can find it online, okay? Other ones that are like staples that are good ones is the titled CLIL book, the Content Language Integrated Learning book, okay, by Coyle Hood and Marsh, okay, David Marsh, like one of my idols, okay, he's really cool. I met him a couple times actually in Nur-Sultan, of all the places, you know, like I've met David Marsh twice now, actually, in Nur-Sultan in different years, okay, so it's pretty amazing. And then I recommend the TKT CLIL course module by Kate Bentley. Terrific for those that really want to maybe even do like some kind of like a training course or program. It's great to kind of, you know, mimic or follow some of what they present in that book. And as well as uncovering CLIL too as well, terrific. These 4 books will have you covered. And these are my recommendations if you're looking for activity framework or even just concept models that you can apply for practical activities, okay? So just to kind of explain to you the relationship between me and my co-speakers here. So I'm really proud of my fellowship partnership through the English language programs with the U.S. Department of State. I'm currently partnered, my host institution is Eurasian National University, and it's been a tremendous experience with the Foreign Languages Theory and Practice Department. I couldn't be happier. And we've been doing some big things. It's been virtual, but we've been doing some big things over there in the Foreign Languages Theory and Practice Department at Eurasian National University. This past academic term here in spring, with some graduate students, which you're going to meet here shortly, we actually had a CLIL in foreign language teaching course that we did over this past spring. I co-taught with Associate Professor Aknur Amanzholova. And actually, I've been working with Akshan for all academic year. We've had quite a few courses together. We've been doing some big things, like I said. You've seen some of our other students in action before with some of my past webinars. But here you can see our CLIL Mafia, all right? So let me go ahead and I'm gonna transfer it over now to our wonderful invited guest speakers. First up is going to be Dina, and she's going to share with her about some of her activities. And then after that will be Aigerim, and then Aknur will also wrap things up, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing, and Dina, so that way it's gonna be all yours. So that way Dina is was one of my graduate students. Like Aigerim and like Aknur, we were all part of and collaborated within the CLIL course at Eurasian National University. So I will happily hand it over to her. Okay, Dina, it's all yours.
Thank you, Mr. August. Good evening, everyone. My name is Dina Abulgazinova, and I'm a graduate of the CLIL course conducted by Mr. August at the Eurasian National University. And during the last semester, my groupmates and I studied the basics of CLIL technology and completed a large number of practical tasks. So today I want to share you 3 different frameworks and show their implementation in practice using topics from the Kazakhstani English subject program for grades 10 and 11. It should be noted that these activities can be used and modified for various subjects and topics. I'm just showing you one of the possible options. So the first activity is called bingo. This activity usually used as a continuation of the previous lesson, as students come to the class with already existing knowledge. So here's my outline. Learners play the game of bingo with vocabulary they have learned. This activity develops thinking skills such as understanding and defining according to the Bloom's taxonomy, and we mainly focus on vocabulary. It usually takes about 10 minutes to complete the task, and here's our preparation. We should list 16 words learners need to learn and prepare definitions for them. We should make bingo cards using the words, 1 bingo card per learner. And here's the procedure. Give each learner a bingo card, call out a definition of 12 words, not the 16, at random. Learners cross out the word if they think the definition matches a word on the card. And the learner with the completed cards shouts bingo. Then we check that the learner has crossed out the correct words on their card, and continue until 3 learners shout out bingo. So for this framework, I chose a topic from the 10th grade program called Causes and Consequences of Natural Disasters. Here you can see definitions and words related to this topic, to natural disasters, and there are 16 words and definitions, but we only name 12 of them. And here is my bingo card I prepared for this topic. So in this task, we consider these definitions as soft and even hard CLIL, because language and content are both taught at the same time in this topic. So here is a bingo card looks like after the student completed the task, and we can compare if everything is correct using our list of definitions. And here we can see that the definition of words we didn't name, student didn't cross, that means everything is correct. There are many possible options of how to integrate bingo into different subjects and topics. For example, if it's art, design, and technology, we can name architectural details. If it's mathematics, it can be evaluations between fractions, decimals, and percentages. If it's geography, we can put on our bingo names of countries or capitals, and so on. So the next activity I want to share with you is called I Am. And here learners narrative a story about a creative individual in the first person, about some process or people in the first person. Here we work with thinking skills such as organizing, evaluating, and creating, and we focus on writing and past or present tense. It always depends on the story, on the topic we choose for our lesson. So we should divide students into 2 groups and give each group its own story about the journey of an enormous system and that they are going on a journey. In the report, students describe what happens at every stage of the journey. As they can describe the journey of some famous personalities, or the journey of a virus through a computer, the journey of a product or musical instrument. After that, 2 groups present their stories in the first person through posters and ask and answer questions. So it's necessary to create a handout because it gives your students some input about how to structure their story, where the story takes place, what they can see, hear, and feel, how the journey develops, what challenges can occur, etc. And I took the topic from the 10th grade, which is called Creative People, Art, Literature, and Music, and prepared my handout for students. So their task is imagine that you are a famous person who has influenced the art or history of Kazakhstan. Whatever artist or figure you choose, you are a storyteller. Your mission is to tell us the important details about you. In the course of the story, you should tell us how and where you were born, what important decisions you made on your way, what obstacles you faced, and how you overcame them. So depending on the subject, we can give students different figures. For example, if it's history, it can be Alihan Bokikhanov. If it's literature, it can be Abay Konanbayev, art, Timur Bekmambetov, etc. This activity is better to provide at the end of the lesson because according to the Bloom's taxonomy, it relates to higher order thinking skills as students analyze and create their own story. And if you work online, this activity can be done by creating digital posters, which can be easily done using special applications such as Canva. So, and the last framework, the last activity I want to present is called real life writing. So in real life, we usually write text for a particular audience. For it can be a colleague, a friend, a newspaper, and we know what type of text we're trying to write. for example, a magazine article, an email, SMS, etc. We also have a reason to write, and this is what we mean by realistic writing. So here learners write texts which have a realistic audience. Thinking skills, organizing, ordering, and creating. And we should design a task for learners related to our subject where they write a realistic text. We need to specify the audience, for example, school children, students of the university, readers of a newspaper. We should also specify the text type. It can be school magazine, website, poster, brochure, and the purpose, for example, to describe, to argue, to persuade, etc. So the procedure, we should explain that the task that has been designed to learners, remind them who the audience for their piece of writing is, and discuss the type of language they might use. For example, a text for a web page for teenagers will use more informal language than a serious review in a magazine. And discuss the structure and features of the text type with learners. It's important for students to write different kinds of texts because that's what we do in our real life. Teachers often ask learners to write an essay for the teachers, but if they will write for different audiences with a variety of aims and text types, it can motivate them to write more effectively, as well as helping them to be more creative. And here you can see different text types for CLIL, starting from essays and poems, etc. So here is how I applied this activity to the topic history and traditions, architectural value of yurts from the 11th grade program. I decided to take the subject art, design and technology and prepare a handout. So the task is following. You work for a museum and have been asked to write a text about a piece of art. Here we talk specifically about yurts in an exhibition for an audio tour for primary school children. So here we specify audience, children age 10. We specify aim, to inform and motivate the children to look at the piece of art, the yurt, and understand it. And we specify text type, text for the audio tour. And if it's online learning, we can ask our students to record an audio or even video. The task is particularly useful because the 4Cs model is integrated into the task. So content is about art, communication, students write and speak, cognitive skills, we use higher order thinking skills, and culture, of course, we talk about yurts, which is related to our culture. Well, that's it. Thank you for your attention.
All right. Well, thank you, Dina, for providing us with those practical activities that we can definitely use, teachers across Kazakhstan. Especially, I mean, there were some really great ideas. So we have plenty more wonderful ideas coming up here that you can see for yourself how potentially you can use these for some of your lessons. And keep in mind too that, you know, a lot of these frameworks, again, can be modified very easily, whether it's for offline or online, you know, lessons, and also for different grades and levels of English language learners. Any of this is really quite possible. So I'm going to go ahead. We're going to pass over now to our next co-speaker here, Aigerim. She's going to go ahead and present on some additional wonderful frameworks and activities that you can use. Aigerim, it's all yours.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. So, excuse me. So my full name is Aliullayeva Aigerim, and I'm also the graduate of Mr. August's CLIL course. and a master's student at the Eurasian National University, Department of Theory and Practice. And I've been working as an English teacher at Gymnasium number 81 as an English school for 6 years and above. And also during this pandemic year, also I have experienced myself like a TV lesson host on TV lesson project on Balapan channel. Maybe some of you, you have seen me on the television. Okay, so also which Dina, my groupmate, has already mentioned about the CLIL activities. Also, I would like to show you possible and practical activities too. So what I want to tell about the CLIL, basically, that CLIL is the content language integrated learning approach, which is tells itself that it is based on the content. Yeah, and in the CLIL approach, we have several categories. Also, Mr. August has mentioned about the wonderful resource book, and there we have learned with our group mates that there are 6 categories, and today I'm going to talk about the focus on speaking and focus on language. So the first, excuse me. So the first type of activity calls balloon debate. And the category will be focused on speaking and the additional focus on giving opinions skills. Also, we know that our Ministry of Education and Science has been settled the specific updated curriculum in our education system, and we have a subject program. So from this subject program framework, I have chosen 2 grades, 9th and 10th grades. And for the 9th grade, I have chosen the topic travel and tourism. And these activities level will be B1 and above. So what is the outline of this balloon debate? The outline that the class debates which items should be thrown out of hot air balloon. So here you can see that hot air balloon has specific basket. Yeah, and the next steps of preparation will be like this. First, what should you do? You should choose 5 learners from 5 groups. But actually, what I would like to say that you can do it in big groups. Yeah. So here you should divide them into 5 groups and choose 5 learners from these 5 groups and indicate their roles. In the indicating their roles, I will explain you later. It is very important to set the scenario, the imaginary situation for teenagers. So other learners need pens and sheets of paper. The second step, each student must consider the qualities of each item. The rest of the class will observe the debate procedure and then vote for one to be removed on the grounds of being least essential from the balloon. Step number 3, you should introduce the idea of a balloon debate describing the situation. And the next step, you should give each group 10 minutes to discuss and to prepare 2-minute speech of presentation, yeah, which must persuade the necessity of each item, yeah. And then you should be strict with the timer. You have to set a timer and be strict with the timing. They should present the learners, these 5 learners, these 5 representatives should present and justify their arguments and the counter arguments, yeah, in order to stay on that balloon basket. And last one, after learners' presentation in each round, observers, the other learners, present their 1-minute speech to make a final vote. And also, you know that I have mentioned about the imaginary situation. Here you can see the imaginary situation according to the topic, yeah, travel and tourism. Our topic was travel and tourism. So you are going real hiking for the first time and discussing with your mates, yeah, what you should take with you. So here each learner should choose one item, yeah, per learner. Here you can see there are 10 items, and these items are very necessary in surviving, yeah, in surviving in the mountains. So they should, what should they do? They should describe each item according to their the activities aim, and they should give their counter and counter arguments and arguments in order to stay on that balloon basket. So the aim of this activity to improve creative thinking skills, to improve their speaking skills as well, and to stay on that balloon basket and flow up. Okay, so this is the first activity, CLIL activity. The next, according to the category, focus on language, basically on vocabulary usage. Activity's name is Taboo, and the grade is 10th grade, and I have chosen from 10th grade subject program, making connections with biology. Why have I taken this topic? Because we know that according to our education system, when 9th graders finish their level, they will be divided into 2 tracks, science and humanitarian. So here I have chosen the science track and making connections with biology, because this Taboo activity will be, I'm sure that it will be very interesting, and it will be very effective to enhance their vocabulary. And here I have mentioned that this activity can be taken in different levels. So the outline of Taboo activity. Learners play a game with taboo words. How? Let's go to the steps of preparation. First of all, you should divide the groups into competing teams. Each team nominates a clue giver and a checker. For example, team A and team B. So each team will have their own clue giver and a checker. So team A's clue giver turns over the first card and holds in her or his hand, so that only the clue giver in team A and the checker from team B can read it. And here, what is necessary, this representative should describe that word without saying, yeah, which is very important, without saying rhyming words, or without showing any emotions, or without giving sound effects. So if they use the list of, for example, here you can see the taboo cards, the examples, and I'll show you later mine one. So here, for example, airport, yeah, the word and taboo words, plane, fly, go. Yeah, so this representative from team A, the clue giver, mustn't say these taboo words. If that team's clue giver will say that word, yeah, then they will lose their point. But if they can describe without saying these taboo words, this word, yeah, the main subject-specific word, according to the topic, in the 75 seconds, they will achieve a score. And if they say the taboo words or lose their time, of course, they will lose their score as well. And here I have chosen the text, yeah, the text material from the 10th grade action, according to the science track, about the blood types. And after reading, after having several discussions about this text, of course, they can take this taboo activity as a revision, as a or as, let's say, consolidation, yeah, activity with according to this vocabulary. For example, here you can see the 4 of them. antibody, antigen, platelet, plasma. Yeah, so here you can see the taboo words list, yeah, that each team's clue giver mustn't say. So first of all, when, for example, team A starts the turn, after, let's say, after finishing the level, after finishing the round, they switch their turns and they can play this game again. Yeah, so it's according to the taboo activity. Then the next activity calls Prove It. This activity is category focused on speaking as well, and the main focus question forms and vocabulary. Also, from this topic, legend or truth, yeah, I have chosen from the 10th grade subject program. Why? Because it is according, here you can see the cross-cultural links, yeah, because in CLIL, we have 4 C's, yeah. So in these 4 C's, we have culture. So so I have decided that it's very important, yeah, to know also about our Kazakh traditional legends, yeah. So legend or truth about Kazakh legends. The level B and above, I have settled. Then, what is the outline of Prove It? The outline of this activity, that learners ask and answer questions to prove or disprove statements in a game. So after, here you can see the steps of preparation. First, what you should do, you should make a handout which contains 10 statements related to the topic. So it can be 7 statements, maybe it can be more than 10 statements. And also you will need to hand out 1 copy of the statements per learner. They should have their own copies of these statements. It is very necessary. And you should also leave some space for them to write notes about their answers. And also you can take this activity, like mingling activity, around the classroom, because it is very necessary to for learners to move, yeah, around the classroom and to ask each other the questions and discuss about the text. So so here is the example. So text also has been taken from the book, yeah, a 10th grade book about the mausoleum of Aisha Bibi. And after discussing, after reading this text, after reading this material, so they can check their also comprehension, and they can improve their asking question skills. Also in CLIL, we have high-ordered thinking skills and low-order thinking skills. For according to this category, so they can ask different question forms. So it is obligatory and it's acceptable for them. So here we can see the examples of the statements. So here they have to prove and disprove all of the following statements by asking their classmates, yeah, questions. And for example, they can, for example, the first time teacher can give her or his example, like for example, according to the first text, do you know the name of the most mysterious building, most mysterious or sacred building in Taraz? Yeah, for example, the first question. Of course, 1 or 2 students will answer this question, and you should, the another learner should explain that he has already proved, yeah, the first statement. And then they will go around the classroom, around the class, and they should discuss. Also, they need to have their own pens with them in order to write down, yes, here you can see the space, yeah, to write down some notes, to write down some examples, or maybe some kind of supporting details, because after completing all the questions, after covering, yeah, asking all the questions, they will discuss with each other the answers. Yeah, so which learners answer was very, let's say, explicit, so was very comprehended, was very comprehended explicitly. Yeah, so so it is according to the CLIL activities that I have prepared for today. So, and I would like to ask you, the participants, to write down the in the chat. So, which CLIL activity was the most like, or got your attention, yeah, or draw your interest? So, please write down in the chat. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, thank you, Aigerim, so for all those wonderful activities, and we'll check back to the chat here to see what the participants feel in their opinion, which one really kind of hit them. I know that for me, I mean, if anybody mentions Taboo, I kind of just I get all happy and something kind of just takes over me. So I don't know. So for me, I kind of already know what I like. But great. So we'll take a look, see what the
It will
participants.
be great to know, yeah, which was very,
yeah, absolutely.
interesting. Yeah.
And so that was, again, thank you, Aigerim. And we're going to go ahead and move over now to our final special invited co-speaker here, Aknur. She's going to go ahead and also present an additional activity as well. I know our time is getting a little bit short. I'm sure she had a few activities to share as well, but I think she's going to choose an amazing one to share with everybody. So Aknur, it's going to be all yours.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Aknur Amanzholova. I am a master student at Eurasian National University. Also, I'm an English teacher at Gymnasium number 8 in Kazakhstan. Today, I'm going to share with some practical CLIL activities according to Kazakhstan's English subject program for English language teachers. In this presentation will be presented two illustrated frameworks which will be applied in accordance with our subject program for 10th and the 9th grade. The present projected frameworks and proposals for structuring like materials focus on the model where English language teachers develop a more content type approach to a theme from a global and interdisciplinary perspective. And here I would like to show you one of the most effective activity for CLIL, which calls skinny and the fat questions. Why is this CLIL? Why this activity can be used in CLIL? Because this activity encourages learners to come up with their own lower and high order thinking questions, and to produce not only language output but also content knowledge. The language output for producing the philosophical questions is more cognitively and linguistically challenging, which develops cognitive academic language proficiency. As we know that CLIL has 4 basic components, like which like usually called 4 C's: content, communication, culture, and cognition. And this activity is based on cognition. CLIL promotes cognitive or thinking skills which challenge learners. The outline of this activity, here learners change skinny questions into fat questions. And the category of this activity focus on guiding understanding. And this activity takes 30 minutes, and this activity has applied for 10th grade for the topic things you didn't know about space, and the level for B1 and above, and it can be any level. It depends on your text. If we talk about the procedure of this activity, first of all, you have to draw a skinny question, mark on the board or on your presentation, and ask learners a subject question which requires a short factual answer. Here I have made question, where is the Baikonur Cosmodrome? I have made this question according to our text, which has taken from 10th grade aspect book for humanitarian students. And in the second column, you can see the mark fat question mark, and you have to draw a fat question mark on a board or on your presentation, and you should ask learners to give to make a question in full way, and they have to give a long answer and full answer for this question. As you see in the second column, it is changed. Like, what is special about the Baikonur Cosmodrome? In the first question, students can answer like, where is the Baikonur Cosmodrome? Students give a response like, gives response that in Kazakhstan. But in the second question, students gives like the response like in full way that Baikonur Cosmodrome is like a special one, and students can give I mean, description about this cosmodrome. And also here I would like to mention that skinny questions usually yield facts and are easy to answer in a few words. The control of the conversation remains with the teacher. In contrast, fat questions have more than one answer, and they help learners to think more deeply about input and speak longer. The control of the conversation often passes from the teacher to the learner. And the fat questions can be used also to assess learning, to explore attitudes, values, or feelings, to help learners to see a concept from another perspective, like to promote learners to support their arguments, or to investigate a thought process, and to predict possible outcomes, and to connect and organize information. Here you can see the procedure of this activity. In the next step, you should put learners into pairs and hand out the text and skinny questions. You should ask learners to change each skinny question into a fat question. From two pairs, you have to form groups of 4. The pairs give their fat questions to each other, keeping the answers to themselves, and the pairs give their answers to each other and they discuss any differences between their answers. After that, you should choose the best question. You have to ask them that your students choose the best question. For example, the question that really made them think and use lots of language in their answer. Next, you can see here, just a minute. Okay, I have taken this text from 10th grade, as I mentioned above, and here I have made skinny questions according to our text, and here students will make their own fat questions by using these skinny questions. Okay, and the tips for cross-curricular cooperation between subject and the language teachers. Before the lesson, the language teacher practice question forms with the learners, and after the lesson, the language teacher gives feedback on common mistakes made in formulating questions. Also, this, as I mentioned above, this skinny and fat questions activity is very the most effective activity for improving thinking skills and the cognitive skills of your learners. Okay, and here also I have the second activity, which calls jumbles. This activity focuses on guiding and understanding. It takes 10 minutes or more depending on length of text. And it has applied for 9th grade for the topic traditions and the language. And the outline of this activity, here learners put text or pictures into the right order. Before class, you have to cut the text up into smaller parts or jumble the text parts in a Word document. Here we have applied the text from 9th grade book Excel. The name of this text, Nauris, and we have changed it, and we have cut this text into paragraphs. And in class, learners work in groups of 3. And they hand out the text pieces or the jumbled text to each of your learners, and you have to tell your learners to read the text and to put or to number the jumbled text in the right order. When the learners have finished, you should give out the original text so they can check whether they put it back together in the correct order. Also here you see the original text. We should mention the variation of this activity, and it's possible to create a similar ordering activity using images, like copy images of the main points in the text and give them to learners. As they listen to a presentation or watch a video, they put the images in the order in which they are mentioned. We can say that this is a fun activity which trains CLIL learners to look for masters and the connectives in texts too. Also, this activity, a jumbled activity, is an excellent way to raise learners' awareness to features of discourse. And that's it. Thank you for your attention.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Aknur, for getting in those great activities. I mean, those are really, again, some really nice ideas, more practical ways that, these frameworks can be applied to the topics that all of us, English language teaching professionals in Kazakhstan can use, in our lessons going forward. So again, thank you to all my co-speakers. I want to say just a few things. I know we're running out of time here. But just a few things. One, I did see a question earlier in the chat about sharing the presentations and having these wonderful activities being able to be shared with all of our participants. So yeah, I think we can go ahead and maybe we can put together maybe just like one Google folder that can have like all of the presentations in it. And then we can share and email that link to all of our participants here. So I think we can do that. That would be a great idea. So if you're wondering, we can do that as well. Couple other things I want to share with everybody. So the other thing is that I'm so proud of my students. Okay, I definitely just got to say that, I'm really proud of all of my students, that I've had. It's been about 9 months or so doing webinars here through American Corners Kazakhstan and being partnered with Sultanate. And you've seen many of my other students in the past. Probably remember some of my students from Eurasian National University for the Miro, webinar that I did last year that, that we had like over 300 people at, so really, I'm really excited. It's really great because there's so many wonderful teachers and I love collaborating with so many of teachers and educators and other just English language enthusiasts in Kazakhstan. So again, I just really want to thank all of my presenters that joined me tonight. My students, they did a great job. Yeah, really, it was like really, really nice. Really excited to see them using. Again, I see them using what I taught them, so that's also good too. To see them, going ahead and paying things forward, which is always just an absolute wonderful thing for any educator to see your students being able to kind of pay things forward as well to other peers and colleagues. Another thing that I want to share too that I didn't mention earlier, and this is kind of important, that I know that as English language teaching professionals, we've all been exposed and we all have already a pretty good understanding about CLIL, about many things that make CLIL effective. Many of us have had, the updated curriculum training courses as well. And I got to say that in my experience and time over the past few years in Kazakhstan, I feel like, there's still kind of this imaginary barrier between kind of soft CLILers and hard CLILers, this line between, the language teachers and the subject teachers. And I feel that, kind of an unofficial role that is English language teaching professionals, there's kind of this responsibility still on us. I hate to say this, but I feel like there still is a responsibility on us to work, to share. So these activities, these frameworks that you just learned from today's webinar, please go forward into your learning communities and don't just share it with only your fellow English language teachers, but work with your subject teachers, be that bridge, help support them to, implement and make more effective CLIL methodology being used, within all of our sciences and mathematics courses and classes, so this is an important role that we all need to play in Kazakhstan. So I just wanted to mention that as well too. One last thing too, Sultanat, how we always like to take pictures, right? I think we should do a group photo here quickly. I know we're kind of out of time, but let's go ahead and get that because we're all a part of now the CLIL family mafia. So go ahead, guys. Turn on your cameras. Okay, turn on your cameras. Okay, like I say to my students, turn on your cameras. Okay, whatever. If you got your son, your daughter sitting on your lap, you got your pet cat with you, whatever's going on, turn on your camera. It's all good. So let's take a group photo. Let's let's throw up the C because we're all part of the CLIL mafia, all right? So we can throw up the C and put that out there. Then we can take a picture of all of our wonderful participants joining us here. Maybe you got to back up from the camera a little bit. I'm too close here. Okay. All right. So just turn on your cameras.
It will be C.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
do it like this.
But some of the C's going the other direction, but it's all right. It's all good.
Okay, where is my C? Is here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I think you can hear how I click it.
Yeah, yeah.
Please wait till I will save it.
All right.
And one more time, another
right,
photo, maybe someone linked. 1, 2, C. 1, 2, 3. Cool.
Oh, all right. Yeah, there we go. That's how we do it. CLIL family mafia. Everybody's officially a member now that joined us today, whether you wanted it or not. All right, guys. Well, I think that basically covers it. If we had more time, we started a little bit later. There's a lot of wonderful webinar programming coming at you always through American Corners Kazakhstan across the whole network. Guys, so many great opportunities to learn, to collaborate, to communicate, work with others. So we pushed the time back a little bit later than usual. Okay, same thing for the next couple of weeks. It's going to be coming at you a little later at 8 o'clock. I hope to see everybody for the next couple of weeks coming up for that Instagram series. It's going to be exciting. Sultanat, did you have any final words?
Not exactly. Yeah, I hope to see all of you next time to another wonderful webinars. Thank you for joining and see you later. Have a good evening. Bye.
All right. Good night, everyone. Have a good evening. Take care.